It's a running stifler in motion pictures that telephone numbers are quite often fakes. The standard 555 zone code turns into dead end to shield guiltless individuals from getting dogged on their telephone lines. A model is the shocking rundown of individuals who could be reached at 867-5309, the number rehashed ordinarily in the verses of Tommy Tudone's 1980s hit melody 867-5309/Jenny. Ghostbusters, be that as it may, was unique. In a phony TV spot in the film, the group states vehemently, "We're prepared to trust you." The 555 number that flashed on screen was live at that point. While it was up, the 1-800-555-2368 line got around 1,000 calls for each hour and played a recorded message from Peter Venkman, Bill Murray, and Raymond Stantz, Dan Aykroyd. The signature melody for Ghostbusters is by a wide margin one of the most effectively unmistakable tunes throughout the entire existence of film. 3 notes in and most fans are as of now influencing along. Surprisingly, the melody composed and performed by Ray Parker Jr. was really done in only 2 days. It was a moment great that fell off in record time. Unfortunately, that wasn't the part of the bargain. Huey Lewis, who was initially recruited to compose the signature tune, sued over encroachment claims including his hit "I Want a New Drug." The case was privately addressed any outstanding issues. So now, we despite everything have the astounding 80s exemplary to remind us who you going to call. One major shock to Ghostbusters fans is that a great part of the film wasn't shot in Manhattan. For a film that so consummately gets a handle on the vibe and mindset of New York during the 1980s, generally barely any shots were done inside the city limits. Schedules and New York City swarm control made it practically outlandish when Los Angeles was impeccably set up to deal with that kind of thing. Another issue was shooting licenses, which demonstrated hard to get in New York City. The group chose to denounce any kind of authority and shoot however much as could be expected there while they could. This landed them in high-temp water with New York nearby law authorization, particularly where the montage scene was shot on day 1. In one scene, somebody who appears as though a security monitor is pursuing the cast while Dan drives the Ecto-1. A few entertainers will go all out to demonstrate they're the correct decision for the job. New off the accomplishment of Alien, Sigourney Weaver needed to make it understood during her tryout that she could have any influence to flawlessness. At the point when she appeared for the perusing, Weaver told makers that Dana's character should transform into a pooch and that she could assume that job superior to anybody. She began yelping, chewing on the pads, and threatening the room. Reitman cut the film and advised Weaver to never do that once more. But he likewise called Harold Ramis, Agon, quickly and disclosed to him they'd discovered their on-screen character. Unfortunately, that scene was rarely shot. Be that as it may, obviously, Weaver was prepared for anything you could toss at her. During the film title failure that tied up naming rights for a huge piece of the creation, the group despite everything required a logo for early advancement. So they made a logo that communicated explicitly the vibe of the film without the nearness of a title. That is the means by which the world got Mowgli, the animation apparition that we've all observed caught in the red line and circle, the general no image, as in no phantoms, on lunchboxes, boards, banners, and that's only the tip of the iceberg. When naming rights were settled, the official Ghostbusters title was included under the logo, with the logo additionally supplanting the letter O in Ghostbusters, consequently making the famous banner we've all observed from that point forward. Ghostbusters is one of those right-away unmistakable, flawless names. It arrives at the point, it drives the message home, and it nearly wasn't what they called the film at all. Dan Aykroyd was the main impetus behind Ghostbusters in the good old days and concocted the idea. He was propelled by various individual occasions, remembering his family ancestries for law authorization. He comprehended what he needed the film to be named. Sadly, a TV appear with a similar name had recently circulated, constraining a fight in court over rights. In the wake of wavering between horrendous choices like Ghost Smashers, the studio had the option to work out an arrangement on the film title, with the first organization making sure about utilization rights. Be that as it may, the vulnerability led to something considerably progressively notorious. Everybody in the cast knew about Saturday Night Live and comedy when Ghostbusters began recording. A significant number of the stars were previous cast individuals, so it should not shock anyone that numerous lines were advertisement-libbied when it came time to shoot. As per the cast, pretty much every scene had at any rate one line that wasn't in the content. The entertainers were continually putting their own turn on the characters they depicted. That may be one motivation behind why the film feels so legitimate and genuine. Murray said that he chose to act precisely how he would on the off chance that he ended up in a similar circumstance, giving a straightforward perspective on the notable on-screen character in an equal apparition-busting universe. One of the most mainstream characters in the principal Ghostbusters film didn't have a name. On set, he was known as Onion Head Ghost as a result of his awful smell, yet the name never stuck. The gliding chunk of green sludge that unleashed ruin in the Manhattan lodging scene and scarfed down everything in sight was tenderly known as Slimer to fans. Be that as it may, authors Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis thought of Slimer as the phantom of John Belushi. They needed the green troll to take after Belushi as a kind of tribute to their expired companion, a man who implied such a great amount to such huge numbers of and simply missed being a piece of something exceptionally unique. All motion pictures experience throwing changes. Notwithstanding, with a problematic establishment simply beginning, changes happened left and right on the Ghostbusters set. As per a few sources, Dan Aykroyd at first composed the film for John Belushi, Eddie Murphy, and himself as the first Ghostbusters. Sadly, Belushi kicked the bucket of a medication overdose and Murphy was at that point focused on Beverly Hills Cop John Candy should play Louis Tully, Rick Moranis' character. In any case, Candy needed to depict the character with a German pronunciation and a couple of schnauzers as sidekicks. The essayists shied away, and Candy moved on. Ernie Hudson played the job of Winston Zedemery, the fourth Ghostbuster. His part was marked down in revises from a unique Ghostbusters colleague to somebody who is recruited from an advertisement later in the film. Through some innovative arranging, Frank Price of Columbia Pictures persuaded SNL alum Bill Murray to play the job of Ghostbuster Peter Venkman, and, well, the rest is history. The Ectomobile, otherwise known as the Ecto-1, is a famous vehicle that is straight up there with the dark Pontiac in Knight Rider and the DeLorean in Back to the Future. A vehicle like this can set the whole tone for a scene and branch off a fortune in promoting. In any case, the Ecto-1 wasn't generally what you see on screen. Truth be told, it nearly wasn't anything. Originally, the vehicle driven by the group should be a pink Cadillac rescue vehicle. After the team, fortunately, rejected that thought, they chose to paint the entire thing dark. Stephen Dane came in and made all the difference by planning the ludicrous, lights blazing, alarms booming reaction vehicle we as a whole know now. Though it might have looked savage on screen, the all-dark Ecto was practically difficult to film in the night scenes as indicated by cinematographer Laszlo Kovacs. In spite of this, fans are fortunate that they saw any recording of the Ectomobile. As Dan Aykroyd uncovered, the thing was a bit of garbage. They could scarcely keep it running among takes, and it separated continually on set. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.